Welcome. I'm Richard Hosnote, and I've been a professional innovator for over 4 decades. My passion for innovation started in my 16-year career at Procter & Gamble, where I became a vice president. It then continued in my 10 years that I worked at the Gallo Winery, where I was also a vice president. Today, the team of professional innovators at Innovate to Grow Experts has led more innovation projects than any other team in America. When I look at the world, I see that there are a number of gnarly problems needing innovative solutions. And I see a number of opportunities that be wonderfully optimized through innovation. I also know how difficult it can be to do that because I know the failure rate that exists within the field of innovation. So I've wanted to reach out and help people be more successful with their innovations in the small hope that by being more successful solving those gnarly problems and optimizing those wonderful opportunities, the world just might become a better place. It was that inspiration and that passion that led me several years ago to start the Innovation Best Practices podcast. We're approaching our 300th episode, thousands of listeners every month in over 104 countries. And I hope in some small way it's helping people around the world be more successful with their innovation. Well, separately, I've more recently come to realize a concerning fact, and it's this. If you want to be trained in innovation best practices, good luck. It's very, very difficult. Please consider the following facts. Out of the 5,300 colleges and universities in the United States, fewer than 0.5% of them offer a major and degree in the field of innovation and anything approaching innovation best practices. Consider that for a moment. In addition to that, in my decades of working with Fortune 500 companies, I have never seen any one of them with anything approaching a comprehensive internal training program on innovation best practices. So if you want to learn and be trained in innovation best practices, it is almost impossible to do that either through a college education or internal training. It is that insight that has led me to launch and share with you this free innovation training in one of the 8 most proven innovation best practices. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me share with you a few more background pieces of information about what's going on in the field of innovation and the challenges we face. Okay, I've just told you how difficult it is to get training in true innovation best practices, either at college or within companies. Now, I'm going to give you another contrast with how difficult it is to get training with how important innovation is. Now, this is not my personal opinion that it's very important. Survey after survey, year after year, done by Bain, McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, Deloitte, KPMG, and others, reports essentially the same thing every year. And that is, among 80% of CEOs, they say that innovation is one of their top 3 priorities for the overall company, with many of them saying it is their number 1 priority. Okay, so tough to get training. Innovation is very important. Now here comes another contrasting thing about the field of innovation. And CEOs either know this or sense it or something, but if they don't, they should, and that is this. It is very, very difficult in today's world without training in innovation best practices to be consistently successful with innovation. And that is an understatement. Let me give you the facts. The facts are this. 75 to 80% of all innovations have failed, and that has been true for over 55 years. So when I said on the previous page it's difficult to be consistently successful, that was really an understatement when you look at these numbers. Now, the research supporting what you're seeing on the screen here is impeccable. Research reports published in the Harvard Business Review going back to 1961. Additional ones also in the Wall Street Journal and by the U.S. Department of Commerce. So, what I've covered with you so far is it's very difficult to get training. Innovation is very important to companies, but the failure rate is extraordinarily high for innovations. Well, the good news out of all this is that I know, my team knows exactly how you can double your innovation success rate consistently, and that's using the 8 most proven and practical innovation best practices. I'm just going to put them up here on the screen. Today we're going to dive into one of those 8 best practices, Quantum Idea Generation 2.0, the single most powerful idea generating tool on planet Earth. Now I know that sounds like an extraordinary statement, but quite frankly, I've looked at all the research. There's nothing even close to this. And if I knew there was something better, I would be using it. Okay? So these are the 8 best practices. Use all these and you can consistently double your innovation success rate, because these tools, these best practices, help you to develop innovative solutions that are dramatically better than your competition. Okay, let's get into quantum idea generation. It's proven in research studies. In fact, twice, Doug Hall, who was the founder of version 1.0 of this, went to Oklahoma State and tested it versus brainstorming. And in both studies, this produced 12 times more ideas than brainstorming. That's an extraordinary advantage. 2.0 was an improvement over what was tested at Oklahoma State University, and while not retested, most people would agree with, it conservatively produces at least 20 times more ideas than brainstorming. So that's what I'm going to share in training with you today. This power tool that can help you generate anytime for any need, anywhere, a whole lot more quantity and quality of ideas than you can get from brainstorming. Okay, so here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to use Quantum 2.0 anytime you need many high-quality ideas. Even if you don't need a lot of high-quality ideas, you just want a lot of ideas, use Quantum 2.0. You can use it for any need, anytime. I'm talking to you about this in the context of innovation, but if you're in supply chain, finance, sales, marketing, R&D, anything, the principles I'm going to share with you here work for any need, anytime. There's 4 elements that drive the power of quantum. I'm going to share them with you in just a moment. And the help that you're going to get here is proven and practical. The evidence supporting all of this, I've already talked about Oklahoma State, but there's a lot of other research on the 4 elements that I'm going to share with you as proven to generate a lot more ideas than brainstorming. And by practical, I mean it's something that you can use right after this video is done. Use it today or tomorrow. This does not require a PhD to use, okay? So this is what you're going to learn. Let's get into it. Okay, there's 4 elements that drive the power of Quantum 2.0. Diversity, stimulus, left and right brain, no fear, no fun. Now, what is this about? Well, these are the 4 things that you want to do in an actual creative session. You want to bring diversity, you want to bring stimulus, you want to bring left and right brain understanding, and you want to make sure there's no fear and only fun in the session. So these are 4 elements that you actually execute in a creative session. When you do all of these together, you unleash the power of Quantum 2.0. Okay, let's get into these. First is diversity. Diversity is probably the alpha part of quantum idea generation. In a creative session, you want to have a collaboration between external and internal expert diversity. If you want to develop ideas that are dramatically better than your competition, it requires a collaborative effort between external expert diversity and your own internal experts. Okay? There's setting the bar at dramatically better than your competition, which is a very high objective for any innovation session is a high bar. And the research supporting that about the only way you can get there is a collaboration between internal and external diversity. Okay, there's different types of diversity. I've already mentioned that. Internal diversity. Very, very important. In a creative session that you're running, and I'm primarily focusing on innovation creative sessions here, you want to bring in a diversity of people, functions, and departments into your session. You say, well, I'm already doing that. I'm a marketing guy and I bring R&D in. And I'm going to challenge you and push back and say, expand the level of internal diversity that you're bringing into a creative session. In addition to marketing and R&D, bring in consumer insights, bring in sales, bring in finance, bring in supply chain people. You will be amazed that when you bring this combination of diversity together, the internal diversity, the power that you unleash in terms of additional ideas. And as I've already mentioned, there's the external diversity component. You want subject matter expertise, external experts, who have expertise that's relevant to the need that you have, the problem you're trying to solve, but it does not duplicate the expertise of your own internal people. Okay, so they know a lot about a particular subject, they know a lot about what you know, but they know additional things. And that's where the collaboration and the power happens. But you also want to include in a creative session where you're trying, especially where you're trying to create dramatically better than competition innovative solutions, you want the assistance of professional innovators. And I know that's self-serving from my own standpoint because that's what Innovate to Grow Experts is. It's a team of professional innovators. We've done a lot of projects, a lot of everything from potato chips to offshore drilling, automobiles, B2B, B2C, and all that sort of stuff. We can really make a difference. So the combination of internal and external expertise, that's what you want to bring into a creative session. Do that for your next creative session, and you will be amazed at the quantity and quality of ideas you get. Okay, the second of those is stimulus. Stimulus is also a very powerful part of getting at least 12 times more ideas than brainstorming. It's information and possibilities that you bring into a creative session, often in PowerPoint presentations or personal discussions, that people present that inspire bigger and better ideas. Let me share with you now a simple real-world experience that I've used consistently to demonstrate the power of stimulus. Here is a simple exercise that I have used in my 6 years of being a professor and teaching executive in residence in the School of Management at Arizona State University. I would have my students in a class where I was teaching innovation to take a pad of paper out. And I'd ask them on that pad of paper to write out all the places they'd like to go on vacation. Many of them would say, hey, I'm liking this exercise. Well, good. It's a fun exercise. I'd ask them to draw a line under the last one. And then in small groups, I would send them to the back of the room where I had laid out hundreds of travel brochures. And I asked them to look at each of the travel brochures and see if there were additional places that they wanted to add to the list of places they'd like to go on vacation. After this had been completed, we added up the number of ideas that the students had before going to the back of the room and after. And what I found consistently was that the list of ideas that people had about where they wanted to go on vacation doubled and tripled. This very easily demonstrates the power of stimulus to open you up to a world of new possibilities. And it's why one of the reasons we bring stimulus into a creative session to open up people to those new possibilities. Okay, that was a very simple form of stimulus, as you can imagine. Professional stimulus, we use 5 different types of stimulus. And in a creative session over 1 or 2 days, we'll use all 5 types of these. Briefly, business background stimulus is what's going on in the business, what competitors are growing, declining, what types are growing, declining, what's happening in the category, new competitors, all that sort of stuff. Then there's broader category perspective. This is typically where we bring in consumer data, what habits and practices, how people use products, likes and dislikes, things that people like, competitive analysis, what's strong about competitors, what's weak about competitors, segmentation research, all kinds of consumer perspective that can be brought in either from a B2B or B2C basis. And this is usually brought in, as is business background, in the form of PowerPoint presentations with the presenters being the people who know most about those two areas. Third area of stimulus that we bring in, and we usually bring these in the sequence that you see here, is relevant recent developments. We will use worldwide searches, often using artificial intelligence, to look for developments around the world in products like the ones we're working on, related to it, new types of products that might be fulfilling the same kind of need. And most of this is visual stimulus that we bring in. It can be powerful stuff, opening people up to entirely new possibilities and ways of thinking. All of this stimulus really starts getting the popcorn machine of idea generation moving, if I can use that analogy. Towards the end of a creative session, we will use what I call mind expansion and inspirational inspiration, and I have a whole library of this. What the purpose here is, when you're deeper into a creative session and you already have some good to very good ideas, you want to make them much, much better and have them rise up to the level of being dramatically better than the competition. Not only just better or quite a bit better, but dramatically better. And to do that, we use these last two forms of stimulus to kind of challenge people and get them to think yet again differently than they have been before. So, stimulus, a very powerful part of Quantum 2.0. Okay, let's talk about left and right brain creativity. This one may not seem as obvious to you as others, but here are the facts. All of us can be equally creative. You're not born creative or not born creative. That's just a myth. Left and right brain people create their best ideas in very different ways. I'll share that with you in just a moment. But boy, are they different. So why is this important? Well, what you need to do is understand the makeup of people in your room. Left and right brain exercises. You can have them take a free assessment online. Just Google left and right brain assessments, and you'll find a bunch of free ones out there. Have everyone take it. Find out the makeup of left and right brain people in your room, and then customize your exercises, your creative exercises, to the makeup in your room. And that will help you significantly increase both the quality and quantity of ideas that you have. Now, the people aren't either purely left or right for the vast majority of people, so you probably want a mix of exercises, but you want to know the makeup in your room. Are the creative exercises that you would use very different for left and right brain people? Oh, are they? I can tell you. Here are what left brain people like. They like to be in a creative exercise where they're told what the objective is. There's some stimulus given to help get them thinking about ideas to deliver on the objective of the exercise. And then they like you to turn it over to them, and they'll take out a notepad and work individually to write down some ideas. And then the next step, we ask them to share it with just one other person, small groups. So one-on-one, share your ideas, and then as you hear the other person's ideas, build on them and make them even better. Left brain people love a logical process, which is exactly what this is. And for stimulus, they love facts and details to inspire them. Okay? That's left brain. Right brain exercises are far more comfortable working in groups and larger groups. They love random stimulus, not the logical stuff that left brain people really love. And right brain people are okay with what would appear to be chaos to left brain people, but is going with the flow, if you will, for right brain people. And right brain people love emotional stimulus. It's not that they don't like facts and all that sort of stuff. That's fine, but emotional stimulus also. So as you can see, pretty different ways of generating your best ideas. So knowing the makeup of the people in your room will help you get a higher quantity and quality of ideas. Okay, let me talk about no fear and only fun. Why am I talking about this? Well, you see the headline on the screen. It's very simple. Fear kills creativity. If you don't address fear in your creative session, it will kill creativity. That's a fact. And it is such a well-known fact and powerful fact that it needs to be addressed. Please understand that everyone who enters any creative session that you run is going to have some degree of fear. It can be fear of, I walk in a room and there are people here that I don't know. It can be walking in a room and, what are we doing here? Boy, this seems weird. Boy, I'm not comfortable. All those kinds of things. And to the extent that those feelings and that energy exists, it's going to limit creativity. So it's critical that you eliminate fear. People need to be free of fear if they're going to have the freedom to blurt out the wild and wacky ideas, which often become the creative session winners. This needs to be a free-flowing, fun environment, and that can only be done when you get fear out of the room. So how do you go about doing that? How do you get fun and positive energy? Well, you got to address fear head on. You need to acknowledge in front of the group as a facilitator that everyone experiences some degree of fear, anxiety, negative energy of some sort, and that it has a negative impact. Okay? And how important it is to kind of let that go. Well, instead of just relying on other people to let it go, this is what the critical role that a facilitator needs to play. And when I'm running a creative session for a client, this is exactly the role I play. You go a long distance to creating fun and positive energy by bringing huge amounts of positive energy into the room. Compliments, encouragement, inspiration, high fives, you see on the screen, jumping up and down, just having fun and rewarding people for their contributions. So that is a big way that you can make sure that you have a very successful creative session. Okay, so let me tie all this together for you. What do you need to do in your next creative session, either today or tomorrow or whenever? Bring in diversity into your creative session. If you're doing a fairly small thing, you can work on internal diversity, go broader instead of narrower. Bring in stimulus into the creative session. The kinds I've shared with you, the 5 different types of stimulus. You almost always want to bring in the first 3 types that I talked to you about in stimulus. PowerPoint presentations that can open people's thinking to new possibilities. When you have that in combination with both internal and external diversity, you've got a very powerful start to your creative session. And left and right brain, we talked about tailoring your types of creative exercises that you use based on the makeup of the room. And lastly, we talked about the critical importance of making sure that you address fear and inject a huge amount of positive energy and fun. Now, do all 4 of these in combination in an actual creative session, and you get great results. Okay, here are some of the benefits that you get from it. With Quantum Idea Generation 2.0, you get a much higher quantity of ideas, as I've already said, than you will get from brainstorming. Here's something I didn't touch on. The quality of ideas that you get from using Quantum Idea Generation 2.0 is a quality of ideas that you would never get from brainstorming. I know that's a strong statement, but just from the mere fact that you're bringing together left and right brain exercises, stimulus, and external and internal diversity, it just unleashes a quality of ideas you'll never get from brainstorming. On a personal front, Quantum Idea Generation is going to help contribute to greater career success because you're going to generate that quantity and quality of ideas that you need for success. This is a process that's proven, practical, even easy, so it's something that can contribute to greater confidence for you. And if you don't do it for any of these reasons, just do it because it's a whole lot of fun. So, you've gone from, in the area of idea generation training, you've gone from a novice and going through the basics of quantum idea generation 2.0. You've improved to the level of intermediate. Start using it and you will get better and better. This is proven, practical stuff that can help you in everything you do. Well, congratulations. You've just completed some basic fundamental training on quantum idea generation 2.0 that you can use anytime you need a quantity and quality of ideas to solve a problem or optimize an opportunity. Well, this is one of the 8 most proven innovation best practices that you've received some basic training on. If you're interested in gaining additional training in all 8 of the most proven innovation best practices, stick around a few minutes because this will build on tremendously the skills that you've already gained on quantum and make you an innovation expert that can consistently produce dramatically better than competition innovative solutions. Every one of the 8 most proven innovation best practices are indeed proven. And by that I mean, yeah, there's some research that backs up many, if not most of these. But the most important proof to me has always been, do they work in the real world? And every one of these innovation best practices have worked in the real world for at least a decade, with one of them working at a spectacular level for more than 4 decades. So the other aspect of this is that they're all practical. The training that if you go forward and participate in the training for all 8 of the innovation best practices, highly practical. By that I mean as soon as the training is completed, you can immediately start using it to produce spectacularly better innovation results in your entire innovation program. Okay, enough of me talking. Let's get started. Just a moment ago, I said that you could get some spectacular results from this training in the 8 most proven innovation best practices. Here's what I mean. It's this simple. Today, you can learn through the training videos I'm going to share with you in just a moment how to use the 8 most proven innovation best practices. Then tomorrow, you could immediately begin achieving the following major benefits from this. It is that practical, it's that powerful. The benefits that you can start achieving tomorrow are achieving dramatically better innovation results in 90 days or less across your entire innovation program, whatever it is. Second, you can consistently double your innovation success rate using these best practices. No surprise. Third, you can get creative, innovative solutions that are dramatically better than all of your competition. That's what these 8 most proven innovation best practices are really, really good at. Next, if you're looking to enter adjacent categories, you can now successfully enter adjacent categories by creating new categories and types of products. In entering adjacent categories, you really need to have a dramatically better set of benefits for those customers if you're going to break through established brand loyalties and everything in those adjacent categories. And certainly if you want to create new categories and types of products, you need to have people sit up, take notice, and say, wow. And that's what you get when you get solutions that are dramatically better. If you need to revitalize existing business growth for rapid sales and profit growth, these innovation best practices can help you revitalize those existing businesses. So one of the important things about all these 8 innovation best practices is that they are all highly proven, extensively and consistently proven, both in research, but more importantly in the real world. And for any of us that have been in innovation for a little while, they're also going to pass what I call the common sense test. So, lots of benefits that you can start achieving and experiencing immediately upon completion of the training you're about to see. If you want to double your innovation success rate, you need to create innovative solutions that deliver to your customers multiple highly meaningful benefits, plural, that add up to being dramatically better than your competition. That's where you need to set the bar. That's setting the bar very high, and the only way I know to achieve those kinds of results is to use the 8 most proven and practical innovation best practices, which you see in front of you. It's made up of 3 idea exploration tools that we use to identify those multiple highly meaningful benefits. All of that happens in an idea generation environment using 2 very powerful innovation best practices. Add to that best practices in idea assessment, data collection, and data analysis, and you have the most complete set of innovation tools and capabilities to achieve innovative solutions that add up to being dramatically better than your competition. There's 3 training videos to cover these 8 most best practices. Video number 1 covers these idea exploration tools. Remember, you need to identify multiple highly meaningful benefits. To do that, there's 3 best practices we use. The 10 types of innovation, highly proven in the real world and in research, that the more types of innovation you use, the more successful you are going to be. Next are the 30 dimensions of value. These are what the values that are most important to customers. And when you can create competitive advantages in these areas, you can count on being highly valuable and recognized by your potential customers. Third is Blue Ocean Strategy, which takes innovation to a whole new level, because this is where you develop innovative solutions with no competition, kind of like that. Entirely new categories and types of products. In sum, these 3 best practices provide you over 40 highly proven options to create competitive advantages that add up to being dramatically better than your competition. At the end of this training, you will know the power tools that you have, and you will be able to use them in your very next creative session, because we will go into a lot of detail. In video 2, we take quantum idea generation that you receive basic training on to a whole new level to help you become a superstar idea creator. You will get great detail on how to actually run and conduct and creative exercises and all that sort of stuff necessary to run a full-blown quantum idea generation 2.0 session. In addition, we will add to that insights from DARPA. What is DARPA? Well, it's the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which has the most stunning and successful record of innovation for breakthrough new products of any enterprise in the world over the last 40 years. The way they go about it is very compatible with quantum idea generation, but there are some differences, and we will communicate them to you, how you can use quantum and DARPA together. In this training session, you will get many, many real-world examples of what diversity is, how to find diverse expertise, recruit, vet them, interview them, all that sort of stuff that you need to do, real-world examples of stimulus and all of that. In addition to that, you will learn how artificial intelligence can help you be much more innovative, plus how using IBM's analytics can get you those dramatic insights that can make a huge difference in your ability to identify highly meaningful benefits that add up to being dramatically better. Whew. That's a lot in one video, but it's all proven practical stuff. Again, at the end of this video, you will be able to run a high-powered quantum idea generation session the very next day or the next week, whenever you're ready to use the tools that we're giving you here. Now, video 1 and video 2 do a very nice job of delivering a high quantity and a high quality of ideas. Remember, from quantum, you get a quality of ideas that you could never get from brainstorming. Okay, so at the end of the session, you've got a whole bunch of ideas, many, and you go, which of these ideas are the best ideas? Well, it'd be nice if you could have an innovation best practice tool that can help you make smart decisions. Well, that tool is Merwin Truth Teller Quantitative Research, powered by Merwin Technology. It is the most used quantitative research tool in America for innovation. Highly, highly proven, highly valuable in making smarter business decisions. This is why. This is the data that you get. You get, for each idea that you test within the Merwin technology, you get results that tell you the idea's chances for long-term success. Highly accurate. Second, you get diagnostics on the strengths and weaknesses of each idea. We use this always to make ideas even better once we understand how to make the strengths stronger and fix the weaknesses. And lastly, and very importantly, this research provides you an accurate year one sales estimate with multiple scenarios based upon awareness and distribution levels. These are three critically important pieces of knowledge and research results that will help you to make smarter decisions about which are the best ideas that you want to take to the next level, and will be very compelling when you share this information with management to get their agreement. So in net, what you have is training in all 8 of the most proven innovation best practices. Remember, if you want to double your innovation success rate, where you need to set the bar is developing innovative solutions that deliver multiple highly meaningful benefits to your customers that add up to being dramatically better than your competition. You need to get to dramatically better, and Merwin research can tell you whether you've actually achieved that level if you want to get competitive users to switch to your innovation. So to become an innovation master that can consistently double your innovation success rate by producing innovative solutions that are dramatically better than your competition, please consider continuing your training in the other innovation best practices. These innovation best practices are highly proven and, maybe in some ways most important, highly practical. They do not require a PhD to use them. They pass the common sense test, as well as the real world test, as well as research test. That's why I use them, and that's why clients have paid my company 6 and 7 figures to gain access to these over the last couple of decades. So check out the additional training videos, plus one that I've not mentioned in the earlier slides, is that you can get my video on my top 10 tips on how to dramatically increase your personal creativity that you can use in any situation at any time. These are taken from my Innovation Best Practices podcast, where I've given these tips in a variety of different podcasts. I've taken the best ones out of those podcasts and put them into this training video to help you dramatically improve your personal creativity. So, thank you. Enjoy, learn, grow. This is the type of training that you can learn today and use tomorrow. Thank you very much.